Iranian Shahed drones pose a real threat to U.S. forces and our Gulf allies. So the Pentagon is now deploying new laser technology to help take them down.
Bryan Llenas joins us live from our London bureau. Good morning, Bryan.
Good morning, Lawrence, Ainsley, and Brian. You know, the U.S. Navy is equipped with 2 laser systems that are capable of taking down these Iranian drones, the Odin and the Helios. Now, the Odin was spotted in a CENTCOM video that was released at the beginning of Operation Epic Fury on board the Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyer. You can see it there in that box. Now, the Odin blinds drones, firing an infrared beam that overwhelms drone sensors, causing it to crash or fail. There are at least 2 destroyers in Epic Fury that are equipped with the Odin. Now, the Helios is a high-energy laser beam with a high-powered sensor that tracks, blows up drones and missiles in the air by igniting the fuel. Now, the Helios is not confirmed to be deployed in Epic Fury. It's only known to be on a U.S. ship that was last seen in the Indo-Pacific in Japan. Now, these technologies are vital in defending against Iran's drone attacks. Iran has fired off 4 times as many Shahed drones as ballistic missiles attacking our Gulf Arab allies. Now, Iran's biggest advantage is that these drones cost $35,000 to make, but one Patriot missile fired to shoot down these drones costs $4 million per missile. Now, these laser technologies cost pennies per shot, and perhaps they're part of the reason why the U.S. says it is not concerned about running out of munitions in this war.
We've had a number of new capabilities being fielded. Obviously, I'm not going to talk about it from an operational perspective of what those are. But I think you have seen over a period of time us kind of get on the other side of this cost curve on drones in general.
Now, meantime, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says he has accepted a request by the U.S. and our Gulf allies to help in countering Iran's drones. Ukraine has become an expert of taking down Shahed drones fired by Russia. This is an ad from a Ukrainian company, Wild Hornets, and it shows the Sting, a low-cost quadcopter interceptor that successfully takes down these drones. Ukraine has also used the Octopus. It's an AI-powered drone interceptor developed by the Ukraine and the UK. It can track drones at night using AI and even go past electronic jamming. The Gulf states are reportedly, guys, discussing using the Octopus to defend themselves with these drone interceptors. They cost about $5,000 to make, much cheaper than the $4 million Patriot missile, which will ensure that our Gulf allies in the U.S. can stay in this fight for as long as they need.
So much advancement in the Ukraine-Russia war. It's been war university for the world, and that's part of it. Bryan, thanks so much.
Thank you. I was reading about these, the laser technology. They say offers a low-cost, high-speed, and nearly limitless magazine for defense, can target, disable, or destroy unmanned aerial systems, fast attack craft, and missiles.
I think the Israelis are using it, and we're using it on the southern border. But they don't like to talk a lot about it. Whatever, it seems like to be the answer. The negativity, they say this has a hard time with cloud cover and has a hard time with rain. So, well, I don't know how much it's raining in the Middle East. That's good for us. So the other big story is, if you want to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, if you want to have to be able to really target the IRGC, you have to get rid of short-range and long-range missiles, and especially you got to get rid of the drones. Among the people that are disappointed we haven't done that yet is a guy that used to be at CENTCOM, the Vice Admiral Robert Harwood, who actually, by the way, grew up, for the most part, in Iran. And he said Central Command has got to take out these missiles, and then everything changes. Watch.
And I'd like to see him make sure there are no more missiles and drones coming out of Iran. And that's still happening. So that's something that would remain #1 in my priority list. If we can make sure they can't project power, then we have all the time in the world to go in and take out their production facilities, focus on the IRGC, focus on the nuclear power. They've been focused on this problem for decades. We know the capacity. What's the wild card is how much they grew their drone inventory and how well they've hidden them. But that's got to be top of the list, using your ISR to look for that, hunt it, and to just persistently and consistently strike it, disabling that capability.
And of course, the launchers, too.
Yeah, that was a great interview because he talked about he went to the Naval Academy, and some of his peers at the academy also grew up with him in Iran. He moved to Iran in like 5th grade, right, and stayed there through because his dad's job.
In the 60s.
Right. And he said some of his friends he's talked to him, they're all cheering. They're excited for hopefully a change in regime.
No, I think to the point that the guest was making, the Admiral, I think this is on the list for the Pentagon. You know, none of us are privy to the plan that the Secretary of War and, you know, CENTCOM are operating with. But, you know, the general did make it very clear that they are using different capabilities that we hadn't used in modern day time. I think one thing the audience has to take in consideration when we have guests on, especially past generals, there are going to be differences in strategies on how they perceive the war should be ran based on their experience. But, you know, there's only a few people that are in the room that are making those decisions
and that
right now.
actually know, that have the intel
To make those decisions.
But right now, taking out those launchers, I mean, when you have hundreds of jets flying in over that war zone, you got to think that they're hitting all this stuff. And what they've done, and you can see the propaganda video that's out, underground are just hundreds and hundreds, maybe thousands of drones underground.
Oh, yeah.
So we have to find out where they are. And those are the Shahed drones who basically we learn from. Those are one-way attack drones, suicide drones. But so much of this stuff came out of Ukraine. That's why we are asking Ukraine to help with their drone technology. And they have said, we're going to help any country that's helped us. So they're helping them out. And that's why everyone's watching war change in real time ever since Russia invaded Ukraine.
And we also have to consider this, and maybe this is too much in the weeds, but to explain, Johnny Ratcliffe, who is phenomenal running the CIA, part of how we've been so successful is our human intel that are on the ground. The moment a country is now in war, the way they move around the country is much different. So we got to take that in consideration. They're reporting back to command on what they're seeing on the ground.
Something we haven't talked about in I guess, a week. We talked a lot about there are so many people that live in Iran that were not in support of the Ayatollah.
Right.
So they were helping out Israel or helping out neighboring countries, maybe even America, with what's going on.
That's right.
On the ground in Iran. Is that still happening?
Well, I know you were going to be a dentist, right?
An orthodontist, yes.
Orthodontist. Sorry.
That's right.
So there's a story out there today that the Mossad has gotten people, dentists, with elite to access to the elite. And when they do their dental work, they put tracers in their mouth. And that's part of the reason we've killed so many commanders and that they wiped out so many generals in the 12-day war. Because they killed them because
well, now they can't do it because you just told everyone what they're doing.
I've read it. I mean, I didn't pioneer that.
That's
By the
crazy.
Way, expect the IRGC to leave their cavities for now on, and not go for their cleaning.
So they can't meet in person. They can't use pagers. They can't use cell phones.
They can't communicate,
and they can't go to the dentist.
Right.
So they're going to be rotting from the mouth.
And they can't go to the bunker where the Ayatollah was going to hide.
They got to fight gingivitis on their own.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.